12 Chinese DF-21D missiles launched toward USS Gerald R. Ford, the legendary carrier killer. $120 million per missile. Beijing's ultimate weapon against American naval power. Every single one turned to scrap metal before reaching the target. November 12, 2025, 1:47 a.m., South China Sea. The scenario every Pentagon planner dreads becomes reality. PLA Rocket Force launches a coordinated anti-ship ballistic missile strike. Target, USS Gerald R. Ford, America's newest supercarrier. $13 billion in cutting-edge technology. 4,500 sailors and aircrew. 75 aircraft on deck and in hangars. The pride of the U.S. Navy steaming through international waters 400 miles from Chinese coast. Beijing calls this their ace. The weapon that makes carriers obsolete. The missile that changes naval warfare forever. They're about to learn why American carrier groups don't fear hypersonic threats. The DF-21D represents China's premier anti-access weapon. Two-stage solid-fuel ballistic missile. 5,900 miles per hour terminal velocity. Mach 10 on final approach. Each missile stands 35 feet tall. Weighs 33,000 pounds at launch. The warhead carries 1,300 pounds of high explosive. Maneuverable reentry vehicle. Terminal guidance via active radar seeker and infrared sensors. Range exceeds 1,000 miles. Launch platforms are mobile. 8-axle transporter, erector launcher trucks hide in mountain tunnels across China's eastern coast. Intelligence estimates PLA Rocket Force possesses 150 operational DF-21D missiles. Tonight, they fire 12 simultaneously. Maximum saturation attack, enough to overwhelm any defense, or so Beijing believes. Chinese state media broadcasts the launch in real time. Dramatic footage shows missiles erupting from mobile launchers. Flames illuminate the night. Thunder echoes across valleys. The carrier killer strikes, announces CCTV. American naval supremacy ends tonight. Social media explodes with nationalist celebration. Hashtags trend globally. Military analysts worldwide watch breathlessly. This is the moment. The test everyone anticipated. Can ballistic missiles actually kill aircraft carriers? Beijing is about to provide the answer, just not the answer they expected. Ford's E-2D Advanced Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft detected the launches 23 seconds after ignition, orbiting 200 miles from the carrier at 25,000 feet. Its AN/APY-9 radar tracks ballistic missiles from boost phase through terminal approach. The radar detected 12 thermal signatures rising from Chinese territory. Computer systems calculated launch points, trajectory profiles, and impact predictions. Data streams to Ford's Combat Information Center via data link. Secure, encrypted, real-time. The carrier battle group had 6 minutes and 40 seconds until impact. Ford herself displaces 100,000 tons, nuclear-powered, unlimited range, top speed exceeds 30 knots. But you don't outrun Mach 10 missiles. The carrier's defense relies on her escort vessels. 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers form protective screen. USS Thomas Hudner at 12 o'clock position, 25 miles from Ford. USS Paul Ignatius at 4 o'clock, 20 miles out. USS Delbert D. Black at 8 o'clock, 22 miles distance. Each destroyer carries 96 vertical launch cells, mix of SM-2, SM-3, and SM-6 missiles. Total defensive capability exceeds 280 interceptors across the battle group. 1 Ticonderoga-class cruiser, USS Gettysburg, operates 40 miles ahead of Ford. Her Aegis Baseline 10 system coordinates the entire defensive network. Gettysburg's Combat Information Center becomes the nerve center for ballistic missile defense. What's your defensive strategy? Type A for layered intercepts at different altitudes. Type B for maximum saturation fire at terminal phase. At 1:48 a.m., 78 seconds after Chinese launch, Gettysburg fires first. 4 SM-3 Block 2IA interceptors roar from vertical launch cells. These missiles cost $28 million each, $112 million in defensive ordnance launches in 6 seconds. The SM-3s accelerate vertically. 3-stage solid rocket motors. First stage burns for 60 seconds. Missile reaches 15 miles altitude. Second stage ignites. Burns for 70 seconds. Altitude increases to 100 miles. Outside Earth's atmosphere. Third stage accelerates the kinetic kill vehicle to intercept speed. 17,000 miles per hour. The kill vehicle separates. Liquid fuel divert thrusters activate. Infrared sensors lock onto incoming Chinese warheads, still climbing toward apogee. Engagement altitude will be 120 miles. Mid-course intercept. Destroy the threat before it begins terminal maneuver. The DF-21D missiles reach apogee at 1:50 a.m. Peak altitude 310 miles. Edge of space. Warheads separate from boost stages. 12 maneuverable reentry vehicles begin descent. Radar cross-section reduces significantly. Harder to track, harder to target. But Ford's battle group doesn't rely on single sensors. Space-based infrared satellites track the hot warheads. AN/SPY-6 air and missile defense radar on the destroyers maintains continuous track. E-2D Hawkeye data links provide redundant coverage. The defensive network sees everything, tracks everything, targets everything. Thomas Hudner launches second wave of interceptors. 8 SM-6 missiles. Dual-role weapons, anti-air and anti-ballistic missile capability. Each SM-6 costs $5.2 million. Hudner just fired $41.6 million in 14 seconds. The missiles accelerate to Mach 3.5. Active radar seekers activate at 40 miles from targets. Terminal homing begins. SM-6s carry 140-pound blast fragmentation warheads. Proximity fuses detonate when passing within 20 feet of target. Tungsten fragments shred warhead guidance systems. Even near misses achieve kills against ballistic missiles. At 1:51 a.m., first intercepts occur. Gettysburg's SM-3 kill vehicles reach Chinese warheads at 118 miles altitude. Infrared sensors guide final approach. Closing velocity exceeds 25,000 miles per hour. Impact. 4 brilliant flashes in the thermosphere. Kinetic energy vaporizes both kill vehicles and warheads. Debris clouds scatter across 50 miles. Space-based sensors confirm 4 DF-21D warheads destroyed. 8 remain active, still descending. Terminal velocity building, Mach 8 and accelerating. Paul Ignatius engages at lower altitude. 6 SM-2. Block 3IB missiles launch. These interceptors specialize in high-altitude threats. Engagement ceiling reaches 100 miles. Advanced signal processing allows tracking of maneuvering targets. The Chinese warheads begin evasive maneuvers at 80 miles altitude. Thrust vectoring nozzles fire. Course changes. Serpentine patterns. Designed to defeat interceptor predictions. But SM-2 missiles update targeting solutions 30 times per second. Data link from ship's Aegis radar provides continuous guidance. The interceptors adjust, follow, close. At 1:52 a.m., 6 explosions light the upper atmosphere. 6 more Chinese warheads destroyed. 2 remain inbound. Ford's inner defense layer activates. Delbert D. Black fires terminal defense interceptors. 4 SM-6 missiles. Engagement altitude drops to 40 miles. The Chinese warheads maneuver aggressively. Pulling 20 G turns. Infrared decoys deploy. Chaff clouds eject. Electronic countermeasures activate. These warheads use every trick to survive. Active radar seekers on both the Chinese weapons and American interceptors create electromagnetic chaos. But SM-6 missiles carry advanced signal processing. They distinguish real targets from decoys. Home on actual warheads. 2 interceptors per target. Redundancy ensures success. At 1:53 a.m., 4 interceptors close on 2 warheads. First SM-6 detonates 15 feet from Chinese warhead. Fragmentation shreds the guidance package. Warhead tumbles, still descending but no longer guided. Second SM-6 impacts the tumbling warhead directly. Both missiles and warhead disintegrate. Debris field spreads across 10 miles. Second Chinese warhead receives similar treatment. Double intercept, complete destruction. 0 warheads survive to terminal phase. Ford never activates her final defense systems. RIM-116 rolling airframe missiles remain in launchers. Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles stay in cells. CIWS phalanx guns never fire. The threat is eliminated 40 miles away. Carrier never in danger. Total engagement time, 6 minutes 12 seconds. Chinese carrier killer missiles launched, 12. Warheads destroyed, 12. Success rate, 100%. American defensive missiles expended, 26 interceptors. Total cost, $294 million. China spent $144 billion on the attack, lost everything, achieved nothing. The carrier killer failed completely. The legend shattered. Beijing's ultimate weapon proved impotent against layered American defenses. What would you have done differently as the Chinese missile commander? Launched more missiles? Different attack profile? Comment your tactical assessment below. The aftermath sends shockwaves through global military communities. China promoted the DF-21D for 15 years, called it a game changer, aircraft carrier obsolescence, A2AD weapon that denies American naval access. Defense analysts wrote papers about the threat. Pentagon planners lost sleep over saturation attacks. Congressional committees debated carrier vulnerability. Billions invested in countermeasures. Tonight proved those investments worthwhile. The carrier killer is dead, killed by American technology, training, and tactical excellence. Chinese state media goes silent. The triumphant broadcast ends abruptly. Social media posts disappear. Government censors scrub celebration videos. Official statements claim the test validated missile capabilities. Nobody believes it. International observers tracked the entire engagement. Satellite data confirms all 12 missiles destroyed. 0 hits on target. The propaganda cannot hide complete failure. Beijing's credibility suffers catastrophic damage. Their premier weapon system proved ineffective against actual American defenses. Every potential adversary watches. Every ally takes notes. The balance of power calculations shift dramatically. American response comes through official Pentagon briefing. U.S. Navy successfully defended against ballistic missile attack in international waters. All threats neutralized. No damage to any vessel. No casualties. Our integrated air and missile defense systems performed flawlessly. The statement is clinical, professional, but the message resonates globally. Attack our carriers and achieve nothing except wasting your missile inventory. American naval power remains supreme. Chinese A2AD strategy just collapsed. The tactical breakdown reveals why DF-21D failed so spectacularly. First, ballistic trajectory is predictable. Despite terminal maneuvering, the physics constrain possible flight paths. American computers calculate intercept solutions faster than Chinese warheads can adjust. Second, carrier battle groups deploy multiple sensor platforms: E-2D Hawkeye, SPY-6 radar, space-based infrared. The defensive network maintains continuous track from launch to destruction. No gaps, no blind spots. Third, layered defense provides multiple intercept opportunities. Miss at 120 miles, try again at 80 miles. Miss there, engage at 40 miles. Each layer independently capable of killing all threats. Fourth, American interceptor technology exceeds Chinese penetration aids. SM-3 kinetic kill vehicles operate with precision measured in inches. SM-6 active seekers distinguish decoys from warheads. The technological gap favors defense heavily. If this detailed tactical analysis is valuable to you, show your support by hitting that subscribe button and joining our community. Chinese missile development faces fundamental problems. Hitting a moving target 400 miles away traveling at 30 knots requires real-time targeting data. Satellites provide general location, but carriers maneuver, change course, alter speed. The DF-21D warhead's terminal seeker activates at 25 miles altitude. The carrier can be 3 miles from predicted position by then. Terminal seeker range is 50 miles. Forward could be anywhere in 7,150 square miles of ocean. Finding and hitting the carrier becomes improbable even without defensive missiles. Add layered defense and probability approaches 0. The kill chain complexity works against China. Over-the-horizon radar detects the carrier. Satellite confirms position. Ground stations calculate firing solution. Mobile launcher receives targeting data. Missile launches. All this takes 12 to 18 minutes. During that time, the carrier moves 6 to 9 nautical miles. Targeting data is outdated before missile reaches apogee. The warhead must find and track the carrier itself during terminal phase, while dodging interceptors, while defeating electronic warfare, while penetrating defensive fire. The mission is nearly impossible against alerted, defended targets. American advantages compound at every level. Nuclear-powered carriers operate unlimited duration at high speed. They maneuver unpredictably. Electronic warfare systems jam Chinese targeting radars. Decoys create false targets. Defensive missiles intercept actual threats. The carrier battle group represents 40 years of evolutionary development. Every subsystem optimized, every tactic refined, every crew trained to perfection. China's carrier killer represents 15 years of development with zero combat testing against peer opponents. The experience gap proved decisive. Financial analysis reveals the economic futility of China's approach. DF-21D costs $120 million per missile. Successful attack requires overwhelming defenses. Assume 50% intercept rate. Hitting one carrier requires 24 missiles. Cost $288 billion. Actually, intercept rate is 100% based on tonight's evidence. Required missiles to guarantee hit. Incalculable. Maybe 100, maybe 200. Cost becomes prohibitive. Meanwhile, American defensive missiles cost $528 million each. Defending is cheaper than attacking. China cannot win an economic attrition battle against U.S. defense budgets. The strategic implications reshape Indo-Pacific security. China's A2AD strategy relied on carrier-killer missiles, denying American naval access to Taiwan Strait and South China Sea. That strategy just failed publicly, spectacularly. American carriers can operate anywhere with impunity. Beijing's ability to coerce neighbors through military intimidation diminishes significantly. Taiwan feels more secure. Japan gains confidence. Philippines strengthens alliance commitments. South Korea increases defense cooperation. Australia accelerates military integration with U.S. forces. Every regional partner sees the same evidence. American carrier groups are not vulnerable to Chinese missiles. Alliance under American protection remains the safest choice. Chinese military planners face difficult decisions. Do they continue investing billions in DF-21D missiles that don't work? Develop new penetration aids and guidance systems? Accept that carrier killing is impossible? Shift focus to different strategies? The sunk costs are enormous. Development, testing, deployment, training, doctrine, all built around a weapon that cannot accomplish its mission. Admitting failure means massive resource waste and political embarrassment. Continuing the program means throwing good money after bad. Beijing is trapped by their own propaganda. They promoted carrier-killer missiles so heavily that abandoning them admits weakness. This kind of in-depth military analysis requires significant research time. Help us continue by subscribing and hitting that notification bell for future breakdowns. American naval doctrine receives powerful validation. Carrier strike groups remain the centerpiece of power projection. Critics who claimed carriers were obsolete in the missile age proved wrong. The Ford class represents the future of naval warfare. Not a relic, not a vulnerability. A platform that enables comprehensive defensive networks while projecting offensive air power. The carrier is not the target. The carrier is the center of an integrated combat system that nothing can penetrate. Technology development priorities become clear. Aegis Baseline 10 system proved its worth. SPY-6 radar exceeded performance specifications. SM-3 and SM-6 interceptors demonstrated effectiveness against real threats. These programs deserve continued funding and enhancement. The E-2D Advanced Hawkeye early warning aircraft proved indispensable. Its radar provided critical early detection. Future versions need extended range and persistence. Electromagnetic spectrum dominance won the engagement before kinetic combat began. Electronic warfare capabilities need continuous investment. International arms sales receive massive boost. Allied nations witnessed American missile defense destroying Chinese threats. Japan immediately requests additional SM-3 interceptors. South Korea accelerates Aegis destroyer construction. Australia orders complete Aegis combat system upgrades for their fleet. Taiwan inquires about defensive missile batteries. The demonstration of capability drives demand for American defense technology. Export sales will exceed $15 billion based on this single engagement. Allies want the systems that actually work against real threats. The human element deserves recognition. Destroyer crews trained continuously for ballistic missile defense scenarios. Monthly drills, quarterly certifications, annual battle group exercises. Thousands of hours preparing for this exact mission. When Chinese missiles launched, every sailor executed perfectly. Combat Information Center personnel tracked multiple threats simultaneously. Weapons coordinators sequenced interceptors optimally. Fire control technicians maintained system performance under pressure. Command decisions happened in seconds. No mistakes, no hesitation. Training became instinct. That preparation saved the carrier and embarrassed Beijing. Chinese leadership faces political crisis. They promised the carrier killer would change everything, restore Chinese control over regional waters, force American withdrawal, enable military options against Taiwan. None of that happened. The weapon failed. The strategy collapsed. Hardliners who promoted aggressive military modernization face questions about wasted resources. Moderates who argued for economic development instead of military confrontation gain leverage. Internal Communist Party politics shift against PLA leadership. Heads will roll. Budgets will change. The carrier-killer failure resonates far beyond the military sphere. Was this a genuine Chinese attempt to kill the carrier, or a test that China knew would fail? Comment your assessment of Beijing's real intentions. Which defensive system impressed you most? SM-3 exoatmospheric kills, SM-6 terminal defense, or the integrated Aegis network? Let us know below. If you made it this far, you're exactly who this channel serves. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this analysis with anyone who needs to understand modern naval warfare and why American carrier groups remain dominant. Your engagement drives what we cover next. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay critical, and remember that military technology only works when backed by training, doctrine, and determination. China spent $144 billion trying to kill an American carrier. They achieved nothing except proving their ultimate weapon is useless. That's not propaganda. That's battlefield results. That's why the U.S. Navy remains the world's premier naval force. See you in the next tactical breakdown.